What's up? What's up? Thursday, the John Browner podcast. Knicks take game one. Padres DFA, then lose again. I'm your host, John Browner. This is the John Browner podcast. As always, you can be a part of the show by going to the John Browner podcast at gmail.com. If you have something to say, immediate, you can just hop in the comments. Shout out to Tito in the building. Listen, man, we got a lot on this show today. But as I always start, I start with the same things every single day because they say you have to keep repeating things for them to work. Let's get to 300. We are above 260, I think. So that puts us in there. We need about 38 more. I think the number is like 38 now. So if you're new to the show, I'll do this again at the end of the show. If you're new to the show, like the show, subscribe to the show. If you're on X and you're watching the show on X, do me a favor. If you're also viewing from the Sporting Tribune's page, retweet the show. I'd appreciate it. And after you retweet it, subscribe to it. Follow me. It's a lot of instructions at the start of this show, but you guys can handle it. You're big boys and girls. You've been here before. You've done this. You know how podcasts work. We're trying to grow this thing. We're trying to grow it to a very large, substantial monetization situation, if you know what I mean. On the show today, we're talking about what happened last night in the game, and we're gonna preview the Padres game. We're gonna keep an eye on it, I guess. I got the pad right here. We're gonna keep an eye on the Padres game. I don't know really what that looks like, but we're gonna try to keep an eye on it. I want to start. I'm going to start with the Padres because they're going to be playing soon. So let's get this out of the way. Listen, to be perfectly honest with you, them DFA, the guy's name I can't pronounce, sucks for him. I was excited about Castellanos. Again, now I don't have to learn it, but I was excited about it, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. The guy had a good track record in Philly of showing up in big moments, ran afoul of whatever was happening there, came here, didn't produce. I mean, but I don't know who you're making space for because Bowen looks, I don't want to say trash because it's very early for him. He's only had, I think it's 17 at bat. Let me see. I think Bowen's only had, I was just looking at these numbers. He's only had 7 at bats. He's only played in 2 games, but nothing groundbreaking at 143. No stolen bases, 4 strikeouts. So he's had 7 at bats. He's got 4 strikeouts and 1 hit. I don't really know. What are you DFAing him for? Typically, when you DFA a guy, he's either a problem, you're financially cutting ties, or he is, Jason Hayward bad. Now, Castellanos hadn't approached Jason Hayward bad. He never got consistent at bats to be Jason Hayward bad. But you DFA'd him, so I'm under the assumption that he was DFA'd because of something that we can't see. I don't think it was just production because nobody's producing. You got like 2 or 3 guys. Gavin Sheets is doing something consistently. Merrill had a clutch RBI yesterday on a guy who set the record for left-handed pitchers not giving up a run, something crazy like that. So what the Phillies have been doing with their pitching has been great lately, and this guy was on a scoreless streak. So what are you going to do about that? But at the end of the day, you DFA'd the guy for what? For who? For who? Who are you making a path for to be DFAing a guy? Is my main question. That's what I would like to know. I'm not against DFAing him. I'm not. I just need to know why. Because let's go down this lineup and talk about why this guy in particular was DFA'd. Because the Padres have been playing. They're in the middle they already got out. So let's talk. I'm trying to find the statistics. I just had them. Let me see. I guess I could do it right here. Okay, you DFA'd him for, let me see. Let's get down to the bottom of this line. Freddie Freeman and Bryce Johnson. Bryce Johnson's batting 182. And they've got a lot of guys as they come in off the bench, guys batting one fill in the blank. One this, one that. One this, one that. And you DFA'd him because what? He was part of the Hunnits? He DFA'ing with the Hunnits? I don't know. I also saw a report, and again, they're playing right now. They're playing the Phillies right now. It's 0-0. They just, what's happening here? Nobody got a hit. Shocker. Stop me if you've heard that before. Nobody got a hit. Today's injury report, somehow Jake Cronenworth is still on it with a concussion. Okay. Matt Waldron, 15-day. Marquez, 15-day. Capisano, 10-day. Okay. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 7 games behind first place. Again, these are the games are too. The games are too. There are too many games to get that mad about one. But the DFA and his news. The DFA and his news. I also saw something that it wasn't alarming to me. It wasn't alarming to me, but it made my eyebrows go up that the league hasn't approved the change in ownership yet. I don't know if this thing takes time. I don't know how hard it is for these old dudes to vote yes or no on the person owning the team. You allowed them to purchase the team. What's taking so long for the ownership to transfer over? When asked about it, they said they didn't have a chance to do it. It'll come later in the summer. What? What'd you say? I thought when you did that, you did that. So maybe there may be some inside baseball I don't know much about. Graham says he didn't play defense. This is on the guy being DFA'd. He can't play defense. He's slow on the bases. He strikes out a lot. So they brought up younger players who can steal bases and play defense. We can't score runs. Isn't that ironic? We can't score runs. So you bring in these young guys who can't hit. Unless you're bringing up a guy who's some type of phenom or some guy high in your farm system, somebody who you've had penciled in to get a chance. I'm not DFAing the guy who I have seen play big in big moments in big markets. I'm not DFAing a guy who's won in other places, who's not, again, 37-38. I'm not DFAing that guy. I'm going to let him try to find his way. But I don't know what I don't know. I don't know whose decision this was. I don't know how important this was to people for him to be DFA'd. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on the game as we go through today. They've already got a single guy on first base. Schwarber single to right. So today's probably going to be fun. You're looking at back-to-back sweeps of the Phillies. You're looking at back-to-back sweeps of the Phillies, and they're starting to come on. They're 32 and 29. 32 and 29. You're 32 and 28. I don't know, man. I don't know I don't know outside of the trade market what they're going to do. Because it doesn't appear that they have anybody down in the farm system to bring up because they would have brought them up. The pitching, ironically, by the way, the pitching has been solid. The pitching has held up with all the names and all the money you have sitting on the IL. The pitching hasn't been the problem. I thought Lucas Giolito, I think Lucas Giolito? Was it Lucas Giolito today or is it? Yeah. So Lucas Giolito is today. The former Dodger was yesterday, whose name is escaping me at this point in time, but he held his own. They're not getting blown out of the water. They just can't score. They just can't score. And this has just been a theme. 3-2, 4-2, 3-2, 4-2. This series in particular, game 1, 2-3. Game 2, 2-3. It's not like the Phillies are, blowing the ball out of the stadium. And they're at home, and that ballpark's easy to hit home runs in. That right porch is pathetic. I mean, it's not, Boston, but it should be an easy right field to get over. We're the DFAing is a thing that, it caught me by surprise. I'll say that. It caught me by surprise because when they brought this guy over, I was excited about it. I think the rest of the fan base was excited about it. And I don't know how long you wait for return on a DFA. The DFA, a guy who people were excited to bring in, who had experience. So I think this had to be hey guys, let's revisit this. I want to try to find a place where I can get some consistent at bats. I came here because I thought I was going to have an opportunity to play on a winner. This doesn't appear to be that. Let me go. And they probably said, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I think you're more along the lines of what I'm along the lines of, Graham. I think he kind of went, yo, can I get out of here? And they went, yeah, sure, why not? And they let him go. That's the only thing. That's the only way I can honestly tell you that any of this makes any sense. That this was more along the lines of he wanted to go, they wanted him to go. He wanted to find a place where he can get more consistent at bats. And they were like, oh, well, okay, we don't want an unhappy guy around who's not producing. We already got enough of those. Arrivederci. So yeah, man. Like I said, we'll keep you updated on the game. They've retired the bottom of the lineup. Lucas Giolito, after giving up the single to Schwarber, is now got Ty Francis now to bat. So good for them. He was able to get out of the first inning by only giving up that hit to Schwarber. We'll keep you guys updated on that because, again, that's happening while this is happening. But let's talk about Jalen Brunson. Let's talk about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Now, first and foremost, again, for everybody listening to the show, let me take this down for a second. If you're new to the show, like and subscribe to the show. If you are on YouTube, if you are on X, please retweet the show. You're listening to the John Browner Podcast. If you are new to me, subscribing, thank you, welcome. If you are new to the show, welcome. If you are finding me through the Sporting Tribune, congratulations. Welcome to the fun. So let's talk about last night. Let me get it back up. Let's talk about last night. I predicted some portion of this. I told you guys before the series started that there was going to be a game that Wemby didn't play well in. He vanishes. And that there's going to be a game where the Knicks just catch fire and they win the game. I told you this series would go 6. We're still in a frame of window where I think I can still be proven correctly. The issue with what I take about what I saw last night was the Wemby vanishing game happened in Game 1. I thought Victor Wembanyama was awful last night. I've watched probably 85% of the Spurs games this year. I have league package. I find Victor Wembanyama to be absolutely must-see in TV, so I follow him regularly. I can't imagine that his style of play is going to change overnight, but he's not aggressive enough. And we've seen this throughout the playoffs. Victor Wembanyama is not aggressive enough in times where you need for him to go, okay, what's happening? And you thought you were going to get that. He looked up, they were down 6. He gets an and-1, and it looks like he's about to come alive, and he just doesn't. I thought the Spurs defended Jalen Brunson well. Jalen Brunson had a terrible first half, whether it be the injuries or whether it be the Spurs defense. And you got to give credit to Mike Brown for kind of putting pieces together to say, okay, this is how we're going to get Jalen Brunson in positions against guys who he knows he's comfortable scoring against. He found the rhythm against Devin Vassell and Shem Penny that once he got that rhythm against them, the Knicks were able to be astute enough to find pick and rolls here and there, to get Devin Vassell on him. And he knows he can score against Devin Vassell. I think he knows he can't score against Stephon Castle. I thought last night was a great illustration of Stephon Castle being able to physically hold his position where Brunson usually can hit you with one of these short, quick moves because physically he's so imposing. and throw you off and get you up in the air. And Stephon Castle was very disciplined. And when he realized, okay, it's not going to be this one, he kept searching and kept searching and kept searching, hurt his knee up here, then had his foot stepped on. And by the time he had worked through all that, he got a rhythm against Devin Vassell, and then it was trouble. He got a rhythm against Champagnie, and it was trouble. And at that point, it was the fourth quarter. And that's when he usually shows his worth. And Brunson saved the day. Brunson won the game. But I got to give credit to the Knicks because I didn't expect for Karl-Anthony Towns to play that well. Karl-Anthony Towns was fantastic last night. When Jalen Brunson went down, it was all Karl-Anthony Towns, and I didn't expect that with Wemby guarding him. Well, correction. A lot of it was he went to the basket against Wemby a couple of times, but most of the comeback was against the Luke Kornet version of the Spurs, which I don't know why I have to keep watching that. I don't know how much Luke Kornet we need to see for when Wemby comes off the floor. They don't play anybody else. Luke Kornet is not a scoring threat. And if you're going to take Wemby off the floor and the defense is going to absolutely decline, you need somebody who can score. That's a Kelly Olynyk. Mason Plumlee can probably be a little more athletic, but he can give you the same thing Luke Kornet can give you. I don't know why we can't see anybody other than Luke Kornet. Hell, I would prefer for them to go super small with Harrison Barnes at the 5 and Keldon Johnson or Carter Bryant. A combination of those three people. Then to keep seeing Luke Kornet, man. This Luke Kornet portion of the Spurs, the Luke Kornet plus minus is atrocious. Let me, because I need to see this. Let me see. Hold on. The Luke Kornet. I'm going to the box score because I can't. I'm trying to. I thought I had this pulled up, but I don't. The Luke Kornet portion of the box score. Last night, Luke Kornet played 10 minutes, didn't score, didn't take a shot, had 1 rebound, had a steal, 3 fouls, -7. Luke Kornet had the second worst plus minus. He had the worst plus minus off the bench, and he had the 4th worst plus minus in the game. The worst plus minus was Devin Vassell, who was, 36 minutes, 4 for 11, 1 for 6 from 3, had 9 rebounds. But the glaring difference, the physical difference of watching the Spurs perform with Luke Kornet on the floor. Again, I'm not expecting Luke Kornet to be a lower version of Wemby. I'm expecting Luke Kornet to give you something offensively, to spread the floor. This is why I think you got to see Kelly Olynyk at some point. You got to see Mason Plumlee, who's more athletic at what Luke Kornet is doing. I don't understand the Spurs' fascination with Luke Kornet. It almost cost him against the Thunder. He made one play the entire series. It ended up being a very pivotal play. But nonetheless, he made the play. So I got to give him credit for that. But the Knicks won last night's game. I want to be very clear about that. The Spurs didn't throw the game away. The Knicks outplayed them. I don't think it was the rest either, because the Knicks started the game off really well. The Knicks started the game off making shots. I think Brunson made a 3 to start the game. Then Wemby made a jumper to start the game. So the game got off to a solid start as far as the Knicks are concerned. It wasn't like the Knicks were rusty and they were down 15 to start the game. The Knicks got down double digits at one point, fought their way back. The Knicks went up 8 in the fourth quarter. The Spurs fought their way back, was up by 1. So it was a back and forth game, and the Knicks won the game. I thought, for a person who didn't score, Josh Hart, super effective in the game. Josh Hart, 3 points, 1 for 5, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. Plus 22, Karl-Anthony Towns, 18 points, 7 for 15 from the field, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 offensive rebounds, 4 fouls, but you just got to get the Knicks credit, man. You got to get a Knicks credit. I didn't expect Karl-Anthony Towns to play that well against Wemby. I don't think Wemby expected Karl-Anthony Towns to play that well against him either. Because Wemby was playing way too tight on him on the perimeter, but I think that was to cut down on Karl-Anthony Towns' passing ability while Brunson's off the ball, and at that particular time, Brunson being hurt. I thought the Knicks bench was respectable. Mitchell Robinson with the broken hand gave you 2 points. 6 rebounds. He was all right, but he was a -4. Jordan Clarkson, I won't. Landry Shaman played 33 minutes, 5 for 9. He was a minus 10 in the box score. He got taken to the basket every single time. This idea that Landry Shaman was going to come in and guns a-blazing, he was a minus 10 and plus minus. He's their Luke Cornett to me. In this particular series where he's on the floor, the game's going to go against the Knicks when he's on the floor. He's going to make shots, unlike Luke Cornett, though. So Mike Brown gets the coaching edge. Mike Brown gets the coaching edge. Mitch Johnson allowed Wemby to vanish by not finding a way to get Wemby open, whether it be through cross picks, whether it be through back picks, whether it be something on a low block. They tried to get him going with something on the elbow. I think in this particular series, he's going to have low post ability in this series. This is not the physicality of Hartenstein and what the Thunder were doing. The Knicks don't play that physical. They play good defense, but they don't play good. They don't play as physical as Oklahoma City does. So he's going to have some opportunities to start low in the post. It's up to the Spurs to put him in a position closer to the basket for him to operate, if that's what he wants to do, because I'm getting the sense that he doesn't. Because when it was getting heated, he made a three, and I went, uh-oh, that's not good for the Spurs. Because here comes another three and another three. I think he shot 9 threes last night. 2 for 9, 6 for 21. Victor Wembanyama shot 9 threes last night. 9. You're 7-4. Defensively, he was fat. I try not to talk about his game defensively because defensively it's on rinse and repeat. He gives you the same game every single time on defense. So I got the defense we don't talk about because it's so stellar and it travels. His offense is so up and down. That's the part that's worrying me because you're going to need him to score in the low post to create. When he's in the low post, you see a lot of doubles. You see a lot of defensive activation. Guys are staring at him. I talked about this last night on the Sporting Tribune Nightly Show, which airs on YouTube and here on X. When people are complaining about his lack of rebounding. He's the only player getting boxed out on every single play. Every minute he's in the game, every shot goes up. Everybody's trying to box him out. So his rebounding numbers are skewed by that. But people, from a box score's perspective, you can see that, and it looks alarming because he's so tall. Why is he not getting more rebounds? Because there's one person holding his arm and there's another person putting their booty in his knees because that's how you box out. But he's got to be better. But he's got to be better in different spots on the floor. The 9 threes is unexcusable. And then to go 2 for 9 is far worse. The three he made in the fourth quarter, that three, even though it went in and it got everybody, okay, here we go. He's like, yeah, okay, here we go. I thought that was bad. That was a bad sign of things to come. And I really thought winning the game was in danger when he made that three. Because at that point, I think he was 1 for 6. And that made him 2 for 7, and then he missed the next 2. So he's got to be better. He's got to be better closer to the basket. He's got to be better, period, on offense. I thought defense, he stabilized them. He allowed them to pressure Jalen Brunson. I thought Mitchell Robinson coming in and physically, screening him mid-play, allowing Brunson to find the cracks and crevices to get to the basket and get going. I thought that was, again, hats off to the Knicks, hats off to Mitchell Robinson for coming in and doing Mitchell Robinson things. People made a lot about the hand being broken, but Mitchell Robinson's not going to score you points. Mitchell Robinson is going to cause disruption. Mitchell Robinson is going to rebound, and that's what he did last night. So when it comes to the Mitch Johnson portion of this, he put the team in a very, very difficult position. Because I don't know if it was De'Aaron Fox's just awful play. He played 11 minutes in the fourth quarter, didn't score a point. Did not score a point. While Dylan Harper, I think Dylan Harper had what? Dylan Harper, Champagnie had 15 in the first half, by the way. Scored 1 point in the second half, which is awful. But Dylan Harper played 28 minutes, had 16.6 for 10 from the field, 8 rebounds. I don't know what Mitch Johnson was seeing to keep playing De'Aaron Fox and not play this kid. He clearly was ready. He clearly was fired up. He clearly was effective. And the fact that they took him out or left De'Aaron Fox in while he was being just a shit show on the court and didn't have Dylan Harper out there, I thought that hurt them. I thought that energy that Harper was giving, whether it be defensively, and that's another guy who you can put on Brunson. Because I thought Jalen Brunson was cooking Carter Bryant. I thought Jalen Brunson was sick of just frying, hibachi grilling. Carter Bryant, I think we'll see some more minutes from Carter Bryant. I don't think we'll see extensive minutes if he gets cooked like that again. There are a couple people who they're going to have to go back to the video. They're going to have to go back to the film room, and they're going to have to reimagine what they got to do against Jalen Brunson. That's Devin Vassell, that's Sham Penny, and that's Carter Bryant. Those three people, I thought De'Aaron Fox played them well, which is probably why he played so much in the fourth quarter. I thought he was played best by Stephon Castle, which we already spoken about that. And the threat of Wemby being back there is great when Cat's in the game. Mitchell Robinson is so physical. Mitchell Robinson was able to move Wemby out of spaces for Brunson to penetrate. So De'Aaron Fox has got to be better. Keldon Johnson maybe played off the floor, but he's got to be better. He was a foul magnet last night. And so there's not really much to – it's that I don't take much away from that other than Brunson has shown himself when it's go time in the fourth quarter, he's going to find a way. And I'm not double him get the ball out of his hands guy because the Spurs have good defenders. The guy was just making shots. He makes those shots. You just got to play an SGA who makes shots. So I don't think the defense will be deterred because he made those shots. Those are tough shots. Jalen Brunson was making the type of shots that at the end of the day, you take your hat off, you shake your hand, and you go, you got it. Y'all won. These aren't gimmick free throws he's shooting. These are tough shots. These are physically laboring shots. And if Jalen Brunson can make these shots and Wemby doesn't have a response, or Stephon Castle doesn't have a response, or De'Aaron Fox gives you another offer in the fourth quarter, we'll see if the Knicks can pull this off, man. I'm interested to see how the Spurs respond in game 2. This is very similar to what happened when the Spurs won game 1 in Oklahoma City. They came home in game 3 and got beat by the Thunder. So they've been beat on the court before. I don't think anything we saw is a deterrent. I just think it was a very good game. And in that good game, the Knicks won and kept their win streak alive. I want 6 more of those games, by the way. I want 6 more of those. Will Mike Brown be able to outsmart Mitch Johnson for 3 more games? Will Jalen Brunson be able to outplay the defense of the Spurs guards? This is chess now, man. This is chess. This is legit chess. And we're going to be able to see who can and who can't. Just like we did in the previous series with the Thunder. The Knicks were not tested up until this point. Last night, the Knicks were tested, and they absolutely passed the test. They absolutely passed the test last night, the New York Knicks did. So you got to take your head off to the Knicks, man. There ain't no hate involved in this. You got to take your head off to the Knicks. Knicks did their thing last night, man. Knicks really did their thing. I was impressed. Because I thought the defense by the Spurs would be what would throw Jalen Brunson off. And for a large portion of the game, Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox did that. But when it was time to buckle up, when it was time to who going to step up and win this game, he showed maturity, he showed focus, he showed grit, he showed determination, and he found Devin Vassell. He found a dance partner in Sham Penny and Vassell. And when he finds a dance partner, turn the music up. I mean, that's what you want. From a viewership, from a viewership. You want to see a guy, regardless of height, stand tall in big moments in professional sports. What you saw last night from Jalen Brunson was a guy, regardless of height, standing tall in a moment his team needed him. When it was time for him to do the Jalen Brunson, do the Brunson. That's what you saw. When it was time for him to do the Brunson bucket, you saw it. You saw it, man. If Devin Vassell had no answer, Champagnie had no answer, and that was the answer from the Knicks. The fourth quarter came, and it was time to do the Brunson bucket, step back, bucket. So I don't know, man. I like what I saw. As a viewer, as a basketball fan, that's what you want. That's what we were screaming for Wemby to do. I don't necessarily believe in this series the factor of experience will really outweigh any outcome. It did last night. Because I think the experience of Jalen Brunson, the steadiness of Jalen Brunson, the fight within Jalen Brunson, that's what you saw last night in the fourth quarter. I don't know if that's a situation where Wemby will see that and be like, okay, I see you. Touche, my friend. I'm interested now. In game 2, I'm interested. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens throughout the game. Because as you saw in NBA games, no lead is safe. And the Spurs had control of the game in the third quarter. And then you got the Cornet minutes. And then the league got, I think it was from 13 to 5 or 6. And then in that point, I think OG Anunoby started making threes. And then I think Cat made a couple buckets. And then I think Shaman made a couple backdoor cuts. Deuce McBride made a couple of buckets. And so now you're starting to get points from here. You're starting to get points from there. You're starting to get points from here. And then here come Brunson. And you know what time it is. Do the Brunson bucket. I don't know if it's a two-step. I don't know if it's like an electric slide situation. Whatever the do the Brunson, whatever that looks like, it ends in a bucket. And again, that's good defense by Devin Vassell. That's good defense by Champagnie. That's great offense from Jalen Brunson. My issue was never with Jalen Brunson. My issue was with the other Knicks. And Karl-Anthony Towns showed up big time last night. OG Anunoby showed up big time last night. Mikal Bridges, he was there. Yeah, he was there. Okay. Mitchell Robinson came in and did Mitchell Robinson things. The formula you saw last night for the Knicks, that's what it's going to take for them to win. The formula you saw last night from the Knicks, OG Anunoby coming up big in parts. Karl-Anthony Towns coming through large in stretches for a continuous part of the game. Karl-Anthony Towns was present from the first quarter to when it was time to do the Brunson. Josh Hart was there the entire game. To hell with scoring a basket. Josh Hart said, I'm going to do everything else. I know I can't make threes, but I'm going to grab these offensive rebounds. Josh Hart, unsung hero last night. Josh Hart had 16. It was 16 rebounds Josh Hart had. All right, let me see. 15. Josh Hart had 15 rebounds last night. That's the recipe. If you're trying to chef the thing, if you're looking for the recipe to victory for the New York Knicks, you got it last night. Now, hopefully you take the Brunson scares out of it with his knee being fallen on or his foot being stepped on. You take that out of the equation. But if you look at what the Knicks did and how they won that game last night, that's the recipe. You now have seen the Knicks' recipe to success. Do the Spurs have a recipe to success? Will we see that? And I'm not talking about, they win by 20. That's not what I'm talking about. Can you get deep into the fourth quarter? When on one side of the court, the Knicks are all of New York, Madison Square Garden, doing the Brunson. What are you doing? When on their side of the court, you know what they're doing. They know their recipe. What's the spice the Spurs need? Is it gonna be a combination of Wemby and Castle? Well, by the way, nobody on the court can guard De'Aaron Fox. He's just not making shots. It's a mystery. Yeah, I know he's got a high ankle sprain, but De'Aaron Fox just not making shots. De'Aaron Fox is getting to the basket. De'Aaron Fox's reverse pivot, fade. That's usually money. He's not making those shots. This ain't the first time he didn't make those shots. We're now on they played 7 games in the first series. He missed the first 2, so that's 5. This is 6. Of the last 6 games he's played, 4 of them have been awful. 4 of them have been awful. Last night included Game 7 against the Thunder. He was good. Not great. He was good. I thought De'Aaron Fox had a great play at the end of the second quarter when he broke the defense down, set everybody up. Real point guard, A-level stuff. Set everybody up. Boom. Finds Champagnie for a 3. Bang. That was his last basket. That was Champagnie's last basket of the game. So when we're talking about the recipe for last night, we know the ingredients that the Knicks need. Okay, you got a little bit of Cat, you sprinkle a little bit of a tiny bit of Shamet. You drop a Mitchell Robinson in there. You know, you stir some OG in there. You simmer a little bit. You simmer a little bit with Bridges. And then at the end, you throw a big old Brunson in there. You throw the main, you throw the meat of the recipe. You throw a Brunson in there at the end, just to finish it off. Yeah, you throw some Brunson in there. You're a bigger the Brunson. I don't even know if that's Italian or whatever. I don't know. But my point being, that's the recipe. That's the recipe that they cooking in Madison Square Garden. That got people bing bonging outside on the sidewalk. If you're in San Antonio, you're in the Alamo, what you doing in the kitchen? What you coming up with? Because it can't be what you had last night. Because it really feels like Mike Brown had his chef hat on last night. And it felt like Mitch Johnson was just, watching. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. What can Wemby do for you is the next question. What can Wemby do for you? I think we'll find out, man. I'm John Browner. You're listening to the John Browner Podcast. We come here every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. until I really feel like, we've exhausted the conversation on certain particular topics. Today's topic was the Padres DFA and Nick Castellanos and losing again. They're playing right now. It's 0-0, bottom of the third. You're actually getting a good performance out of Lucas Giolito. He's got 2 Ks. Stott just singled to left, so that might be ending. And we covered what happened last night. I just came up with something new. Do the Brunson bucket. We saw the recipe for the Knicks. What will we get from the Spurs? I thought Wemby gave you next to nothing for most of the game, and for him to shoot 9 threes is atrocious. I thought Victor Wembanyama shooting 9 threes was absolutely atrocious. You cannot have that. You cannot have that at all going forward. And I hope we don't ever see that again from him. Now, if he's 5 for 9, cook, big fella. But being 2 for 9, and I think 1 for 6 when you make the second 3, that ain't gonna get you nowhere. We're beyond let Wemby shoot threes, Mitch Johnson. Because I'm looking at you now, Mitch Johnson. I'm looking at you. This really feels like a you thing now. This is where you need a coach. This is where you need somebody not who to just you're placeholding for Pop because Pop's really kind of pulling the strings because it only feels like they make adjustments after the game. I never thought I'd say this, but is Mike Brown exposing Mitch Johnson's inability to call plays, to change things on the fly? Maybe he is, because that's what I'm seeing. I mean, if you're seeing what I'm seeing, you tell me. If you're seeing something different, Mitch Johnson has not shown the ability to change things on the fly when it comes to play calling, when guys go cold or things go awry. This young team is so good. I think he's very hands-off outside of the initial plan of what to do. When Jalen Brunson got going, I didn't see Mitch Johnson call a timeout and go, okay, that's not working. We're now going to do this. We're going to put a different guy on him. We're going to make sure through these pick and rolls that Castle stays on him or Fox stays on him. None of that happened last night. When they were struggling to score, it wasn't like, okay, hey, Victor, here we go. We're going to get you posted here. Hey, Castle, we're going to put you in the mid-range so it's easier for you to get to the basket. None of that. Absolutely none of that. So we got to find out. We got to know. We got to find out. I think it's up in the air right now, but Mitch Johnson lost you a game last night. He lost you a couple games during the Thunder series too. So is Pop really secretly back there pulling wires and strings post game, every game? This ain't for training. This ain't the training wheels portion of the season, dog. This big dog. This eating. This at the table right now. And I don't feel like he at the table. I think Mitch Johnson appears to be being puppeted. If you are a fan of the San Diego Padres, this is what a lot of people believe the manager has been struggling with, because they believe A.J. Preller is making the lineups, A.J. Preller is making the pitching decisions, but A.J. Preller not the manager. It's starting to appear as if the manager, the head coach, is Mitch Johnson in name only. I mean, the guys respond well to him. He's young. He's around their age. They can relate to him. He can relate to them. He's excited when something happens on the sideline. I don't mean that he's not coaching. He's not locked in like that. I mean, when it comes to changing course in game, Mitch Johnson doesn't appear to be that guy. And now we've got, for me, this is I don't know. I'm up to a baker's dozens of times I've watched the Spurs play, and I go, oh, they need to make a change here, make a change there. And they don't. Pop would have, but Pop's one of the greatest coaches ever. So the bar is very, very high for him to compete with in that organization. And when Pop says something, you listen, because, again, it's Phil Jackson, it's Greg Popovich. Pat Riley is somewhere in there. Don't talk to me about Red Auerbach. They didn't have enough black players at the time. But, yeah, man, great game last night, though. Great game. Take your head off to the Knicks. The Knicks absolutely won that game. The Spurs didn't throw it away. The Knicks took it. It was there for the taking. The game was there for the taking. And Lil Brunson stood tallest on the court when the time came. Let's hit some of these comments. Again, welcome to the John Brown Podcast. If you've been here all day, shout out to everybody who's joining today. Looks like most of you guys are coming in via the Sporting Tribune, so appreciate y'all for that. Like the show. Subscribe to the show. I'd appreciate if you guys went over to YouTube after this and subscribe to the show. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock, giving you a little bit of this for about 40 to 50 minutes. We're at the 43-minute mark. If you want to be a part of the show, you can always email me at the John Brown Podcast at gmail.com, or you can hit me up if it's immediate in the comment section. So let's hit some of these. What do we got? Pitching decisions are made by our pitching coach. The rest is made by you know who. This is speaking of the Padres for all the people joining us. Let me see. What's the point of the salary cap in a new MLB CBA if deferring money is still allowed? The top spenders are just going to use that to get to get around the cap ceiling. You guys are talking about something that's completely different from what I'm talking about. But that's normal. Would I want Brandon Ayuk? Okay, let's answer some of these questions. I like this one. Wemby missed his mark by 0.5 point on Prize Picks. Yeah, buddy, get used to that. I've lost a lot of Prize Picks at the that half is a killer, dog. That half on Prize Picks is a killer. Prize Picks used to be an advertiser for the show. They're not anymore, but yikes. 16 by Harper, and he couldn't cut it. You got to again, this is a Mitch Johnson situation. Dylan Harper's not going to put himself in a game like that. That's not how that organization rocks. That's a Mitch Johnson decision. I'm not telling y'all I'm out on Mitch Johnson, but I'm questioning Mitch Johnson right now because this is the biggest a spotlight can get for a head coach. You're in the NBA Finals, and the NBA switches coaches. The Spurs traditionally don't. And this guy was handpicked by Greg Popovich. But I'm watching, man, and I'm not impressed. This is now too many times where I'm looking for coaching answers, and I got coaching questions, and he has not provided me anything to the tune of where I saw it, and I went, okay. This isn't what I saw from Mike Brown, who Mike Brown, experienced head coach, got to the end of the game. And by the way, I'm not a huge fan of Mike Brown, but I give credit where credit is due. Mike Brown saw a hole in what they were doing and exposed it. So I don't know, man. That's I said I would answer some of these questions. Okay. Double M forever. What's the point of the salary cap in the new MLB CBA if deferring money is still allowed? The top spenders are just going to use that to get around the salary cap. Here's the thing about that. I don't think guys want their money deferred. I just don't think guys want their money deferred. I think the deferring of money works when you're paying a guy $400, $500 million. Yeah, you can divert some of that. If you're going to give me $250 million, yeah, you can divert 50 of it to avoid the cap so the team can be better. But if you're talking about giving me $25 million over 5 years, nah, don't defer none of that. I need all that. Because if I defer any of this, the tax is going to get me. So I think when you talk about deferring money, like what happened with Ohtani or what happened with some of the Dodger signings, everybody not going to go for that. Everybody not going to go for that. And there's only so many $200, $300, $400 million contracts you can give out. A lot of guys aren't getting those. I think some of these younger guys who were signing contracts, they're not deferring anything. They want that money. If it's your first contract, you want your money now, up front. Don't talk to me about 15 years from now. Give me my money now. So the Dodgers made deferring money famous, but outside of that, who's deferring money? The Yankees ain't got guys deferring money. The Phillies don't got guys deferring money. The Mets don't got guys deferring money. I think a hard cap in baseball is absolutely necessary. A hard cap, we're so far gone from how long ago they should have had a hard cap in baseball. I think what the Dodgers did is excellent management. They didn't break any rules. Ohtani did, but they didn't break any rules. They did as such. It was right in front of them. They played by the rules. They found a loophole in the rule, just like smart businesses do with tax breaks, just like these offshore accounts. They found the smart loophole within the system and got guys to defer money, but guys got to agree to that. If it's your first contract and you finna get $200 million, and you ain't never had no money before, you basically been playing baseball for free for 8 years because of arbitration and how many years you got to earn to get to that point. I think it's 5, 6 years. You got to play baseball basically for nothing. Nah, bro. I ain't deferring nothing on that first one. On that first one, you got to pay me. But now some of these first ones are 10-year deals. $250 million. Nah, I don't defer none of my money. Robert Acuna Jr. didn't get his money deferred. That's all I'm saying. When the Giants got that third baseman from Boston, whose name is escaping me at this particular time, none of that got deferred. So guys deferring money is totally based on the individual. I don't think you're going to see a wave of guys deferring money to help the team out because, there's a hard salary cap. So I think if we're going to have a conversation about the salary cap and the CBA, if it's not a hard floor and if it's not a hard ceiling, then don't do it. Don't do it. Because the hard ceiling has to have excessive penalties to it. So guys don't do it. Do you think the Mets care about a hard cap? I mean, everybody's got a breaking point, yes. But I don't think Steve Cohen really cares about that. Because he spent his money, not wisely, but he spent his money. He didn't get the return on investment that the Dodgers got because he gave his money to the wrong guy. So just because you have money to spend doesn't mean you'll spend it wisely. Remember once upon a time, Chris Bryant got a big fat contract from the Rockies. Have you seen Chris Bryant? Bad organizations spend their money unwisely. I got the hiccups right now. Bad organizations make bad decisions with their money. Graham, you're correct. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think there will be a work stoppage in Major League Baseball. I honestly believe that. I think Bryce Harper said something about this, I think maybe other day, 2 days ago, about how the game's in a great place, which it is. Financially, it's in a great place. Attention-wise, it's in a great space. And if you do a work stoppage, this won't be like in 1994 where you had to let guys steroid themselves up and start hitting home runs. 45-year-old guys hitting 25 home runs a season. They're not gonna. They're gonna have to go back to that. But the problem with now, if you get a work stoppage, as Bryce Harper said, there's too many guys with too many things to do. Where is it? Listen, look at that. I got 3 working phones, dog. I got 3 working phones. I'll find something else to do. Baseball goes on a strike, buddy. People will move on. People will move on. You'll see it hitting revenue on almost all markets, with the exception of probably like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Padres, because that's really the only team. You'll see some single city teams continue to be successful. But these large, like the Yankees, will continue to be successful. The Mets will probably fall off. The Marlins will be worse than what worse is now. The Marlins are the bottom. That'll double bottom out. Because if you're in Miami, you want to go to a Marlins game in the summer, or you want to go to the beach. If there's a lockout and you live in San Diego, you're going to go do something else, man. You're just going to make the fans mad at the players. The owners never lose in this situation. And it's one of the things that really pissed me off about any work stoppage that you see. The players always lose because you can identify the players. If you sat next to an owner out to dinner on their anniversary, because you can't afford what they eat, but let's say you eat at a super fancy restaurant, you're taking your wife out, or your wife's taking you out for your anniversary, or your birthday, or her birthday, or whatever the case may be, and you're sitting next to the owner, would you even know? No. But if you sit next to Manny Machado, you would know. Or Fernando Tatis Jr., you would know. Or Aaron Judge, you would know. If you were sitting next to Ohtani in a restaurant, you would know. The players always lose because they're identifiable. The ownership group's not identifiable. You don't know what they look like. They don't have jerseys with their names on them. So whenever there's a work stoppage, the players always lose. So if it's time for a hard cap, like every other major American sport, it's time. It's time. Baseball has had the strongest union throughout professional sports for the longest time. It's not a loss if you get a hard cap. They're not saying you can't get paid. They're just saying all y'all can't get paid on the same team. And I'm not saying, this is to break up the Dodgers. I don't want the Dodgers broken up. Find a way to allow the teams that have rosters at what they're at now to continue to have those rosters, because they did those roster constructions under the current rules. They didn't break any rules to do that. So therefore, you shouldn't penalize them. But after that, hard cap it, man. Hard cap it. And by the way, a lot of people think the hard cap is going to be the most painful for teams. The hard floor, because there are 16 teams under the 171 mark of payroll in the league right now. That's more than half the league is under the payroll that would be the floor. So those are the people who will be most affected by the cap, not the Yankees, not the Dodgers, not the Mets, not the Phillies, not the teams that actually spend. It's the teams that don't spend. They're the ones who are going to feel the pain. It's your Rockies. It's your Reds. It's your Pirates. It's your Royals. It's your Rays. It's the Nationals. So that's what I think about that. Last question of the day. Would you want Brandon Ayuk? Absolutely, I would. Now I got to figure out what's wrong with him. I got to figure out what's wrong with him. If I was Brandon Ayuk, I'd go play for the Rams for nothing. Because 49ers got to pay me. I'm going to make the 49ers pay me. Whatever went wrong in the 49ers locker room, I'm going to make them pay me. If I'm Brandon Ayuk, whatever soured, whether it be with John Lynch, or whether it be with Kyle Shanahan, or whether it be with Brock Purdy, whoever it's soured with, I'm going to make them pay me. They're going to pay me to get up out of here. And then I'm going to go for little or nothing for somebody who I play you twice a year. That either be in Seattle or that be in Los Angeles. I'm going to go play for one of those teams very cheap, and then I'm going to bust your ass twice a year. I wouldn't go to the Cardinals if I were him, but I'd find my way. If I were Brandon Ayuk, once they cut me and pay me what they owe me, I would find my way to Los Angeles or I would find my way to Seattle. And I would make it my purpose to hurt the 49ers every time I played them. Because something went wrong between him and somebody very powerful in that organization. Something happened between Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers organization. Yes, I heard he was speeding recently. Can we stop talking about athletes speeding? They drive really fancy cars. They have lots of money. They speed. They drive fast. Myles Garrett got busted for speeding a couple of times in Cleveland. Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, Shador, busted 3 times for speeding, 175 and then 35. They're in Cleveland, bro. They drive fast. They got nice cars. That's the least thing I'm worried about is guys speeding. Like Rice I think he got into an accident. That's what I care about. Josh Jacobs beating up his OnlyFans girlfriend. That's what I care about. Which let me give that a couple of minutes before I get out of here. Okay. Josh Jacobs, you seem like a nice guy. Apparently you're not. For you to have beat the hell out of your girlfriend and OnlyFans model, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Being a sex worker is the oldest business in this country. It is recession proof. Okay? The fact that there are women, young women, old women, every size of woman making money on OnlyFans just shows you how sexually repressed and how freaky we are as a society. That's nor here nor there. For Josh Jacobs to physically beat this woman to the point that he's now facing multiple charges for battery, I don't even know what the fight was about. I don't care. Again, I know a lot of things personally that have happened to professional athletes because of the people who I know that I never say anything about on this show, and I will never say anything about on this show because I don't believe in spilling these guys' personal lives out for public consumption unless it reaches the police blotter. This is my personal opinion. Because there are some things that I've been told about Fernando Tatis Jr. that I have said nothing about. There were things that I knew about Mike Clevenger that I said nothing about. Because to me, that's not the business that I want to be in. I'm not up for that. I'm not up for that at all. I don't care about that. Are you performing on the field? And if you start breaking the law, now we got to talk about you. So what Josh Jacobs did, and if you don't know, please go, do your own research, as they like to say. You should be out of the league, man. You should be out of the league. That's all. That's how I feel about this. If you are a professional athlete, specifically any sport, baseball, football, because I think Wandy Franco, the guy who was dating a 14-year-old, the all-star from Tampa Bay, who was dating a 14-year-old in the Dominican Republic, won't have to do any jail time, but he was found guilty of lesser charges, I guess. You don't want him on your baseball team, do you? Great baseball player. That guy should never play again in Major League Baseball. Playing in a professional sport is a privilege, dude. It's a privilege. And I don't care how good Josh Jacobs is. Josh Jacobs could be a great guy who made a mistake. I'm not saying put Josh Jacobs in prison and never let him out. Do not sign him to any more NFL contracts, though, because it's a privilege to play in the NFL. Every human will make a mistake. Some of our mistakes are bigger than others. Trust me, I know as mistakes were made in my life. You all know about one of them. But that doesn't require that person gets to continue to play in the NFL. Josh Jacobs has plenty of money. I'm assuming he really always seems smart with his cash. From my perception of him with the Raiders and with the Packers, he didn't grow up with a lot of money. There was a story that came out about him before when he was drafted. about sleeping in a car as a kid all the way up until his like junior year of high school or something crazy like that. So the guy's had a rough life, figured his way through life, made some money, got some signing bonus cash, and then decided to beat his woman. Even if they figure it out, get back together, okay, that's for them to do. That's none of our business. That's for them to figure out. But in terms of whether he can play in the NFL or not anymore, no. No, this is very simple. We're at a time now where it's 2026. There are some things as men we need to be able to control ourselves in doing. If you're Josh Jacobs, if you are a professional athlete and you make millions of dollars off your likeness and your skill, a life's hard work, and you're dumb enough to throw it away because you want to hit a woman, that's it for you. If you can have discipline to the tune of being a professional athlete, which, by the way, in football in particular, the level of discipline it takes to become a professional athlete is unbelievable. But you also don't have the discipline to not hit a woman. It's inexcusable. This isn't that complicated. This isn't that hard for me. I don't have a hard time, breaking this down. Josh Jacobs can go in and do a lot of stuff. Josh Jacobs can go into business. Josh Jacobs can go into self-help. Josh Jacobs can go into politics. Josh Jacobs can go a lot of places. When you beat a woman, it's proven by the court system, because give him his day in court. If he's found guilty of these charges, and I'm not talking about pleas to where they plead to something lower. If you're found guilty of these charges, you're done. It doesn't matter who it is. This is how you stop it in professional sports. If you know, as a professional athlete, if I get busted for domestic violence, my career is over. You will stop doing it. Because you take away the thing that these guys have fought their entire life for. You take it away. Hey, nobody's going for that, man. But this question started, would I take Brandon Ayuk? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Thank y'all for joining me today, man. I'm John Brown. This has been a John Brown podcast. Great show today. Thanks everybody for those comments. Graham, Ray Rice never played again. My point. And by the way, Ray Rice never played again because of the video, by the way. Ray Rice never played again because of the video. If there's documented evidence of Josh Jacobs beating this woman, you cooked. You cooked. You seen Justin Tucker lately? You cooked. The guy was a Super Bowl kicker. He was one of the most accurate from distance kickers in NFL history. Can't go to the masseuse at the facility. He got to go, find somebody. I almost said something very racial. He's got to go find somebody off the books. All right, well, now Justin Tucker is free to get massages wherever he wants now. It doesn't mean you have to stop playing football. Shout out to the Wrigley family. It doesn't mean you have to stop playing football. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to stop living. Cheers. It doesn't mean you have to stop playing football. In the NFL, you can't. Yeah, I do need an HR department, dog. I almost said something crazy in joke form, though. But I learned my lesson. I almost said something very crazy about massage parlors. But I didn't. By the way, Robert Kraft still owns the team. He got caught up in the sex trafficking scandal. That's documented. I don't even have to say allegedly. You feel me? I don't even have to say allegedly with Robert Kraft. He was caught in a sting going back the next day because Shawty was so good. So, you're right. You're right, excuseless. Self-taught, baby. Self-taught. I learned from my mistakes. There'll be some people out there like, well, you should be in the podcast no more. You made a mistake. I made my mistake on Instagram, stupid. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Take care. John Brown, the podcast. Like the show, subscribe to the show. You don't have to retweet it now, but can you retweet it tomorrow? Be safe out there, man. Regulate yourself. Self-taught. Be self-taught.